And then I realized I totally lied to you when I said I would talk about ancestors and necromancy, and then I just talked about my ancestors. So, here's the portion on necromancy. Now, this has been around. Necromancy, what does it mean? I'll start with that. What does it mean? That last portion there, mancy, has to do with divination. It's a means of divination. Necro refers to death. We hear it a lot in something that starts to basically decompose. So when your skin begins to die around a wound, then that's necrosis. The cells die. So when we combine those two, you have divination through some aspect of death. Specifically, this refers to dead people, corpses, spirits. And unfortunately, over time, things have kind of delved in a couple of different directions. At its most simple, and the way I view necromancy, it is a means of communicating with the dead for the purpose of divination, meaning getting information from the spirits around you because they are in touch with the other planes. They have the ability to know more than you do. And again, there are several different beliefs on this. Some people believe that the departed spirits know only basically what they knew from their lifetime. Others believe that once you've departed this plane, you reconnect with the universal energy, and so you have access to everything. All history, all knowledge, etc. So, depending on, and me personally, I kind of veer toward that. Once you're out of this body, you reconnect with the energy in general. So I could see being able to plug into different aspects of that energy. But whatever your belief is, you would be looking for information that corresponds with that belief. And you are gaining that information through communication with the departed. Now, there is another train of thought which has evolved because necromancy has been around for basically ever. At least since I know the ancient Greeks, Romans, Egyptians, all of them had some form of necromantic ritual that they practiced, meaning not necessarily everyone, but the holy people and the ones that practiced magic. And it was very important in those cultures. So it's been around a long time, is my point. And then somewhere along the way, probably the Middle Ages, because that seems to be where everything kind of went down the drain, but somewhere along the way, it also became connected with raising the dead, reanimating a corpse, and basically forcing the spirit back into a corpse so that the corpse now can speak to you. So the idea is you can't speak to the energy, the soul itself, but you can speak via the person because we have vocal cords. So, can this happen? I think so. Pretty much, I believe anything and everything is possible. Would I do it? Not on your life. That way too creepy for me. However, this is why this concept of raising the dead is why necromancy has gotten kind of a bad name for itself in more modern times, because this aspect of it is what a lot of people associate with the term necromancy. Okay, so overview and history aside, what do I think of necromancy? I basically practice necromancy whenever I can within my spiritual practice. because I view it as speaking to the ancestors, as inviting them in when I would like to know something, when I'd like clarification or help on a specific thing that I'm trying to figure out. And I basically see this as tied to, for example, my meditative journeying that I mentioned way back when. Kind of going on a little inner journey to find wisdom from however that wisdom and spirit needs to manifest. Oftentimes it will be a grandparent, a departed grandparent. Sometimes it may be a god or goddess. Sometimes it may be something else. But this is where I think necromancy comes into my practice. So it's not necessarily something that I view as different or separate from other practices that I do. I think it's a natural part of, an organic part of what I already practice in as far as meditation, journey work, ancestor worship, that sort of thing. So I just kind of wanted to touch on that a little bit because it came to me as I was researching a little bit earlier this month, or maybe the end of last month, that necromancy has a bad rap, and I think it is not well deserved. And so I wanted to kind of bring up the topic and see what you think about it. I think it's a perfectly natural and organic part of practice. You may not. If not, let me know why, because I'm curious. So how do you view necromancy? How do you work with it, if you work with it? And let's compare notes. Okay, thanks very much, and talk to you later. Bye.